Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Maverick News channel. Donald Trump, he's trying, and the people around him are trying to, I think, use that Trumpian Jedi mind trick thing that seems to have been so effective over so many years for MAGA. But will it be successful as he tries to flip the Epstein script, distract, get people to look over there, not so much over here? I'm not saying there isn't something to the Epstein stuff, and I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying you can see the politics being played. We'll illustrate that for you tonight. Also, Canada trumping Trump's tariffs with a major LNG natural gas project. And this is actually something that's been talked about to some degree, but not really highlighted as much as it probably should have been because of all the doomers and gloomers out there. I'll explain through the broadcast tonight as well. What else do we have for you? Oh, yes, a tragedy in, I believe, New York State, Nassau County, sucked into an MRI machine. I'll tell you how that happened as well. And then Katy Perry, her mishap, her near tragedy, some would say, at one of her concerts, as she has a high-flying aerial incident that really put the fear of God into her and I think a lot of her fans. We'll show you what happened. So stay with me. All that and a whole lot more coming up right after this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So, Trump still under fire, the Epstein stuff not going away. He wants it to go away, but it's not going away. Where should we begin tonight? Well, we should probably begin right there with the Epstein files scandal, if you want to call it that. He's facing growing backlash from his supporters over his administration's handling of the Epstein files. So here's the latest. The Justice Department, led by Attorney General Pam Bondi, recently released a memo stating there is no evidence of a so-called client list, as you know, tied to Epstein's sex trafficking crimes, and confirmed that Epstein died by suicide in 2019. So, of course, this has sparked outrage among some in the MAGA movement who expected the release of incriminating documents after Trump's campaign promises to declassify all the files. And so prominent conservative figures, including commentators like Laura Loomer, Tucker Carlson, they continue to criticize Bondi, with some calling for her resignation. And then tonight, we're seeing reports that Trump is becoming frustrated with the way that all of this is going down. And He says here he's frustrated having to take the heat for Pam Bondi's handling of the Epstein files. This is NBC. I'll just run a little bit of this.
This morning, a surprising move from President Trump, under pressure from his base.
This has been the first fracture in MAGA.
Trump saying that he wants to release some of the documents related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein after days of dismissing the controversy.
The credible information's been given. It's pretty boring stuff. It's all been a big hoax.
But now President Trump posting overnight, quote, based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I've asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. Bondi responding, saying we are ready to move the court tomorrow to unseal the grand jury transcripts.
So this stuff you all know, but Trump is now really kind of trying to flip the script, I think, and the people around him who continue to support him, and even some who maybe are a little bit on the waffling side. Tulsi Gabbard coming out with, kind of a report on the 2016 election, now threatening legal action, maybe even against Obama and the people around him for, pretty strong language. I'll try to see if I can find the clip of her, but she is citing some internal declassified documents alleging that prior to the 2016 election, the intelligence community consistently assessed that Russia was probably not trying to influence the election by using cyber means. And it looks like she is trying to put pressure. Well, I think take the heat off Trump and put the focus back on the Russia scandal, and then put the political opponents from MAGA on their back feet or on the back heel with even threats of some sort of legal action against them. The Gabbard report cites internal communications, including what she's calling whistleblower emails, suggesting that Obama's national security team, which included Clapper, Brennan, Susan Rice, John Kerry, Loretta Lynch, intentionally politicized intelligence to delegitimize Trump's presidency. She argues that this led to a years-long coup against Trump, fueling the Mueller investigation, congressional impeachments, and heightened U.S.-Russia tensions. Some sources, including Fox News, the Daily Wire, are reporting that the declassified documents show the Obama administration ignored earlier intelligence community findings and crafted a narrative post-election to target Trump. Now, on the other side, we're seeing critics of Gabbard's claims, including Democratic lawmakers and intelligence experts, arguing that her report is politically motivated, that it misrepresents the evidence. A bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee investigation spanning 3 years and resulting in a 1,300-page report concluded that Russia aggressively sought to interfere in the 2016 election to benefit Trump, primarily through social media campaigns and hacking efforts targeting Democratic entities such as the DNC directly, and then this aligns with findings of the 2019 Mueller report, which confirmed Russian interference in a sweeping and systematic fashion, and that's a quote from the report, but did not establish coordination or collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. Not to say that Russia wasn't trying to influence the election. I think it's pretty clear that they probably were, that they were. Yes, they were. They did, and they continue to do that. Every major power in the world, every country seems to be involved in doing exactly that to one degree or another. And I'm sure that the United States, maybe even Canada, might even be involved in other countries trying to assert that kind of influence as well through social media and information campaigns, disinformation, propaganda, modern style, modern warfare, modern information warfare style. The Obama administration's January 6, 2017 intelligence community assessment was based on a broader analysis than the Steele dossier, which was only one part of the intelligence considered and not the primary basis for the conclusions. Critics, which include Jim Himes and Mark Warner, argue that Gabbard's focus on the lack of evidence for direct vote tampering, that is to say, vote counting or somehow manipulating how votes are counted, or maybe even adding votes, digitally altering things, the Dominion voting machine scandal, blah, blah, blah. That her focus on the lack of evidence for that, which included disinformation as well and cyber attacks, not aimed at changing votes, but at influencing public opinion, that this is why her report doesn't really paint an accurate picture. She's kind of, what they're saying is they're kind of she's focusing on, hey, look, the Russians didn't intervene or manipulate votes at the ballot box or the digital ballot box or through the machines. But what the critics are saying is that Russia was trying to influence the election using other means like social media, disinformation campaigns, information warfare. So that's what's kind of on the table. And Gabbard has also used this term treasonous conspiracy. Now, that's legally and rhetorically charged because treason under U.S. law requires actions like levying war or aiding enemies, which critics argue is a misapplication here. In any event, any way you kind of look at this, Gabbard's claim that Obama instructed his administration to manufacture, these are her words, manufacture intelligence about Russian interference in the 2016 election is not definitively proven here by the available evidence, and her declassified documents suggest a discrepancy between pre- and post-election intelligence assessments. And all of this coming out right now is also highly suspect for many because it appears that it may just be another, like a layered on attempt to pivot or distract or get people to look at something else and to get people's attention off what's going on with the Epstein files. Now, of course, we've seen just in the past a couple of days this bombshell from the Wall Street Journal, and this is really why everything has reached a fever pitch. And this is why the Epstein files continue to linger in the news cycle even tonight. And it's all because of this article right here, the Wall Street Journal article, which claims that Donald Trump sent a letter to Jeffrey Epstein, one of many, as part of a collection kept in a leather portfolio of some kind. All these letters wishing Jeffrey Epstein a happy 50th birthday. And this letter, which the Wall Street Journal says came from Trump, is, to say the least sexually oriented. It is bawdy. It is a bit crude. It has a silhouette of a naked woman drawn. The words are all inside that. And then the signature on it of Donald Trump is written in a way that I guess it resembles pubic hair. And then the closing line on that alludes to secrets being kept. So this is what is haunting Donald Trump right now, dogging him, refusing to go away, keeping this in the news cycle. But as he's trying to combat that, one of the ways he's doing it is by trying to push the attention to other things now. Will it work? I don't know. He's been pretty effective with these Jedi mind tricks, saying this is not the scandal you are looking for. Just like in Star Wars, when Obi-Wan Kenobi with Luke Skywalker sits there and says, these are not the droids you're looking for. Well, this might be the scandal that Donald Trump's opponents are looking for, because it does seem to still have legs even tonight, even as Trump tries to shift the attention over to what he is doing with regard to protesters. He is launching, he says, a full-scale investigation into the shadowy figures bankrolling the Los Angeles rioters. And he's turning to Pam Bondi once again to head this thing up. Let's bring him up and listen to what he has to say about that.
They stomp on them, but they're too tough. They don't allow it. And attempting to infiltrate and occupy federal buildings wearing armor and face shields. The best money can buy, somebody's financing it. We're going to find out through Pam Bondi and Department of Justice who it is. They're already on it. Who's financing all this equipment? Very professional. Under the Trump administration, this anarchy will not stand. We will not allow federal agents to be attacked, and we will not allow an American city to be invaded and conquered by a foreign enemy. And that's what they are. A lot of those people were let in here by the Biden administration. They just poured right in. They came from prisons. They came from jails. From all stomp on them, but they're too.
So that is what Trump, like the pro-Trump social media platforms, that's just one of the things they're trying to post tonight. Let me take a little break. I'm going to come back on the other side, Steve.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
So reposting stuff like that is just one of the tactics being used by the pro-Trump camp. They're trying to refocus on other political narratives. Some pro-Trump voices, other ones are emphasizing the administration's policy successes, such as the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill. They're trying to talk about that tonight. They're defending administration figures like Pam Bondi, defending Kash Patel, and trying to kind of heal these cracks and these wounds that have emerged as a result of all of this. And of course, as you're seeing, they're trying to blame the Democrats and the media. Trump and his supporters have framed the Epstein controversy as a Democratic-led scam. And that's where the Tulsi Gabbard stuff comes into the picture tonight. Or a hoax designed to undermine his presidency by casting doubt on the motives behind the Epstein narrative. They aim to discredit it and shift focus to broader anti-Democrat rhetoric, such as claims about election fraud or other partisan issues. And of course, there's the legal actions against the media. Trump has filed a libel suit now against the Wall Street Journal over that article, which revealed that letter, and its parent company over a report over this 2003 birthday letter, calling it false, malicious, and defamatory. He's saying it's not his. And the Wall Street Journal saying they will vigorously defend themselves, defend the report in court. So they're going to fight. And this is far from over. Downplaying Epstein's relevance. Trump keeps saying that the Epstein case, as you saw in the NBC report there, being recycled, that the Epstein case is boring and sordid, but boring. And he's urging his base to focus on other priorities. So all these efforts have had mixed success. Surprisingly, it's, I think to a lot of people, Trump has not been successful in flipping the Epstein script, but the attempt is still there to try to work some of that voodoo magic and bring about another Trump Jedi mind trick and get people thinking about something else. This is not the scandal you're looking for. What else do we have for you tonight? Okay, let's move on. So also, down in Windsor, Ontario, one of Canada's major automotive cities, we are seeing this week contractors filing lawsuits against firms involved in the Nexstar Energy electric vehicle plant. It's a $5 billion project backed by over $15 billion in government incentives. And here's the latest. And I think this is a reflection of the instability that has been created largely because of the Trump tariff threats. People, governments don't know how to plan, how to respond. Companies don't know how to plan, how to respond. And as we seem to be tapping the brakes or even slamming the brakes on EV production and the development of EV battery plants, it seems to be creating some problems in places like Windsor, where a huge amount of money has been invested in electrifying the auto industry. I have some footage inside that facility, actually. We'll just bring this up. Here we go. I have some images inside the factory for you tonight. So that's what this place is looking like. And a lot of taxpayer dollars have been dumped in here, but contractors, including Sylvan Canada and RVR Concrete, claim they are owed millions tonight for unpaid work on the sprawling facility, which is a joint venture between Stellantis and LG Energy Solution. Sylvan's $45 million lawsuit targets South Korean contractor G Modus and its CEO, alleging mismanagement and safety issues that led to Sylvan's abrupt removal from the project, forcing nearly 200 layoffs. RVR Concrete is suing for over $35 million, citing unpaid work and damages from unsafe construction conditions. The lawsuits filed in Ontario Superior Court also named the City of Windsor, which owns the land, in construction liens. Nexstar insists the project remains on track for cell production later this year, but critics argue the disputes highlight a clash between North American and South Korean construction practices. A veteran construction lawyer, however, has noted that legal battles like this are common in large projects, but the scale of the claims is raising eyebrows tonight. And it is something that I think this is, I think, also happening partly because of the Trump tariffs and the shift on the U.S. side back toward gasoline-powered vehicles. EV production not happening quite the way the government had planned. But again, this is because you had the Biden administration first. Well, not first, but is really accelerating the pace at which the electrification of the auto industry was supposed to happen. And now Trump's in there and he's saying, not so fast. And Elon, take a hike. No EV subsidies for you or anybody else. And that's one of the things I think, too, that might be fueling part of the fallout between Trump and Musk. How's his America Party doing anyway? We're seeing that the polling isn't very favorable at this point, but it's very difficult to start a whole new party. So Elon Musk has his work cut out for him there. Did you see what happened with Katy Perry's tour prop malfunction? Here, I've got some video. I'm just going to run it this way. I'm not going to run the audio. I'll just run it in the small screen. I'm a little worried about a copyright strike. I think we're okay, but we'll run it this way just to avoid any problems. Here we go. And hang on, I'm going to rewind that just a little bit so you can see it again. But here she is flying on this big butterfly thingy-majiggy. And then one of the wires seems to have broken, the supporting wires. Man, she could have fallen right off that thing. So a bit of a scare, but she kept on singing. A little bit of a hesitation there. She broke away from the song for just a moment and then resumed. So, yeah, a scare. But this brought back memories for me of 1999 and Owen Hart. I don't know if you remember that, but this also highlights the dangers that some performers, whether it's sports or, well, certainly in the entertainment industry, circuses have always had, daredevil kind of trapeze acts and things of that nature. But back in 99, wrestler Owen Hart was suspended from the ceiling and was making an aerial entrance and fell to his death, as you may recall. Here's some images on Google from that tragedy. Owen Hart dead. That's the headline back in 99. And so, some people say wrestling is fake, and you can argue that, but this was a very real moment. And even if it is entertainment more than sport, there's definitely a high level of physical endurance and conditioning and planning that has to go into all of this stuff, and safety also is becoming a larger and larger issue at these kinds of events. So just another incident tonight, just drawing attention to it. And then there's this, did you see this? Should have kept this until the end of the broadcast, but it's entertainment related, sort of, but not really. It's kind of tragic in itself too. The CEO of this company called Astronomer, software company, goes to this Coldplay concert. He's resigned now because he's there with a woman, and the company is denying that this is a coworker. But other reports tonight, including some major mainstream media outlets, are saying that it is a coworker, and these two are at this event. And it looks like they were there. Maybe somebody misbehaving, having an affair, maybe. That's what the front man for the band says. It says they're either really shy or they're having an affair. And now the CEO of the company, because they were put up on the Jumbotron, you see, camera focused on them. They weren't expecting it. And bingo, caught on camera, and maybe caught doing something else. Yeah. So that guy looks like he's went out for a night of fun, and he's going to end up losing. Well, he lost his job because now he's resigned after a few days. He's probably going to lose his wife, and he'll probably lose half of everything he owns. And I'm not sure about the woman. And that's enough said about that. I don't know how to feel about that. I just feel sad. That's I guess the reaction tonight to that. Yes. Now there's also this tragic story out of Nassau County, New York. A 61-year-old man has died now after being pulled into an MRI machine at NASA Open MRI, a place where they do these magnetic resonance imaging tests on people. Let me see if I can. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to come back. I'm going to try and get you some video to show you what happened there. Stay with me.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching.
The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Okay, so here's the video. Let's bring this up on the screen here. And again, I'm updating this saying, okay, that the man pulled into this machine has now passed away, but this is the report from ABC that we'll share with you now, just letting you know that this is slightly behind. The man has since passed away.
A New York man is in critical condition after being pulled into an MRI machine. Police say he was wearing a large metal chain when he walked into a room where a scan was taking place. Here's WABC's Lindsay Tuckman.
A truly horrible and unusual accident. Nassau County Police say a 61-year-old man was magnetically pulled into an MRI Wednesday while wearing a large metal chain. He apparently walked into an unauthorized area at Nassau Open MRI in Westbury while a scan was underway, and he was drawn into the machine. He's now in critical condition.
That really made me upset because that should never happen. The only thing I saw was Nassau County Police Department, ambulance, fire department.
Carolyn Spruill arrived to the business on Old Country Road Thursday for an MRI, only to be told the machine wasn't working.
I made another appointment here, but I think I better reschedule it somewhere else. I think so. No, I didn't hear anything about that. They just said that the machine was broke.
Police say the victim is from Long Island and was not a patient. Rather, he was at the facility with someone else. Nassau Open MRI, which has several other locations, offers both open and closed scans. At nearby North Shore University Hospital, medical professionals say they're shocked and that rigorous safety protocols should be in place to avoid attracting metal objects.
If this was a chain that was wrapped around the neck, I could imagine any kind of strangulation injuries that could happen, asphyxiation, cervical spine injuries. If the patient was slammed against the MRI, any kind of blunt force trauma that we can think about could happen.
And that was Lindsay Tuckman reporting.
Oh, my. No comment from the company tonight on this. I don't know if you can visualize what would have happened. Those MRI machines, they use electromagnets. They're like incredibly powerful. And if you have any metal on your body, I mean, it's just going to grab a hold of that metal. If you have a bracelet on, if you had something around your waist that's made of metal, and it will just grab that and instantly, choom, you are bam, right up against that magnet, against that machine. And if he had something around his neck, I mean, the force that would be applied, I don't mean to be too graphic, but that's how serious this is. And that is why this gentleman has passed away. Normally, there are a lot of safety protocols in place. I don't know if just about everyone at some point, I think, has had an MRI done. I, at one point, had all of my my cards in my wallet wiped clean when I was down working on a story about healthcare in Texas. And we shot video of an MRI machine and procedures taking place. And I just got too close. And I had my wallet still in my back pocket. And I was down there in Texas. And because I couldn't use my debit card or anything, I had no way to get money while I was down there. It was a learning experience. So always leave your wallet away from the MRI machine and never wear anything metal anywhere near one. Normally, they have a lot of signs up and safety protocols in place to prevent something like that from happening. Something's not right with that story. Moving along. In other news, let me just get my notes out here. Okay, so where are we going now? We're going to Kazakhstan. Yes, we are. This is a story that actually has been developing over a number of weeks. And because of some things people have been sending me and asking me about over the last few days, and because of the whole situation with the Trump tariffs, I thought we'd better highlight it tonight. It is significant. It is important because Canada has launched its first ever liquefied natural gas shipments to Asia from the West Coast. This is a brand new thing. And this is something that really hasn't received that much play in the media. It has been, unfolding, and this project has been in the works for a long time. But just days ago, a tanker loaded with the very first LNG cargo, liquid natural gas, departed from the LNG Canada terminal in Kitimat, British Columbia, bound for South Korea. It's an $18 billion facility, a joint venture led by Shell, with partners including Petronas, PetroChina, Mitsubishi, and KOGAS, and it is now exporting 14 million tons of gas annually. The 670-kilometer coastal GasLink pipeline, completed by TC Energy in 2024, makes this possible by transporting natural gas from northeast British Columbia to Kitimat for liquefaction and export. This is a big win for Canada, and it's even though there's been some media news conferences held, some attention focused on it, it's actually been happening kind of quietly, even especially in the face of these tariffs and the trade war with the United States, and as Canada pivots away from the U.S. as the focus of trade and starting to concentrate or find new markets. This is exactly what this is about, because up until now, all the natural gas produced in Canada has been pretty much used for domestic use, or it is sold to the United States. And the price for liquefied natural gas is about 4 times higher over in Asia, which means that now, with the ability to export to the Asian market, Canada can start selling natural gas for a much, much higher price. And this is going to pump a lot of money into the Canadian economy. It will help our gross domestic product. It's going to result in growth. It's going to result in jobs, and it will reduce our dependence on the United States for trade. Not to say we can't still trade with the U.S. and can't still expand or sell all this sell the natural gas we sell to the U.S. We certainly can, but now we've opened up a whole new market, and in addition to that, it's a market that the U.S. is not focused on. So this is sort of like trumping Trump's tariffs. Here's BC Premier David Eby talking about the project.
This is the largest private sector investment in our province's history. It was delivered under the NDP government. It will result in a 0.4% increase in the nation's GDP, just this project alone. It will bring billions of dollars in benefits to British Columbia and to the nation. It will be a benefit to both British Columbia and Alberta and all Canadians. And it is an example of what we are focused on as a government delivering for British Columbians. Clean, reliable energy to power growth. Fast-tracking projects to get them done, and using those the revenues from those projects to strengthen the services that families depend on. We have an astonishing an important list of major economic projects in this province that are moving ahead. Highland Valley Copper just received its permits from the province, and Teck will be moving to a final investment decision on that multi-billion-dollar project, copper mine, delivering a critically needed metal to Canada and the world.
So there's a lot of stuff in the works, has been for quite a long time, and some of it's actually coming to fruition. It's not all doom and gloom, and every day we get up and we keep hearing, oh, elbows up, elbows down, doom and gloom all around. No, not necessarily. Canada is a robust, powerful country. We are, one of the biggest, economic powerhouses in the world. We're part of the G7. We're a major player when it comes to money and wealth and potential. And that's what we really need to be doing, is tapping into that potential. And that's what you're seeing happening here. And this started before Trump. It's just that now we've done an end run, and we are going to be doing more business with like Japan and countries in Asia. And the U.S. doesn't have access that way because their pipelines go down into, I think, the Gulf of Mexico for LNG, and they ship it out from there, but they can't go. It takes a long time to go around the other way. So we have opened up a new market for us. And I think that the Americans will come back. We're seeing some moves that way, and the Trump administration backing efforts to make LNG available from Alaska on that side of the continent from the U.S. market. So they're not going to sit back and just watch us sell all this liquid natural gas to Asia. They want a piece of that too. But this is all in play as we negotiate through this tariff war and get ready to renegotiate next year the USMCA or CUSMA, however you want to arrange those letters. Lots of stuff going on out there. So what else do we have this evening? We've kind of touched on most of the major stuff that I wanted to bring to you tonight. We're going to have a shorter broadcast than usual this evening. So let me just take a short break, and then we're going to come back and wrap up on the other side.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
Yes, and there is also this story tonight about a man using a car to strike down people outside a Los Angeles club. 30 people injured, and the man was then shot. Here, I'll show you the headline. And there it is there. There's a picture of the vehicle involved sitting on the sidewalk after ramming into the crowd of people that were waiting to enter the nightclub. It says here, a vehicle rammed into a crowd of people waiting to enter a nightclub along a busy boulevard in Los Angeles early Saturday, injuring 30, so it would have been overnight, leading bystanders to attack the driver. The driver was later found to have been shot, according to Los Angeles police, who were searching for a suspected gunman who fled the scene. It's not immediately clear if the driver had been shot before or after the crash or why he drove into the crowd, according to police. And 23 victims were transported to hospitals and trauma centers. At least 3 were in critical condition after being injured along Santa Monica Boulevard in East Hollywood. A fight broke out outside of the club prior to the incident, according to witnesses. And shortly after, the car hit the group of people standing outside. The investigation will have to determine, I guess, if the fight was related to the incident with the vehicle. And there was a hot dog stand there, and the vehicle ran into that as well, I guess, as you can see. And that's where it came to a stop near that lamp post. And yeah, even as we speak, the whole Epstein thing, just circling back to where we began at the beginning of the night, still developing. More headlines. Here's NBC. I'm telling you, this story's not going away. Oops, wrong one. Right there. Trump DOJ order on Epstein could create legal and ethical challenges. Jeffrey Epstein's victims feel erased as their suffering is sidelined by MAGA's civil war. Trump frustrated at taking the heat for Pam Bondi. We showed you that. Now that story pushed down. This one here, the Trump DOJ order on Epstein could create legal and ethical challenges. That's the story that is now pushed up to the front. Another headline. And there's the story we just told you about. They have it over there on NBC as well. At every turn. And tomorrow being Sunday, I guarantee you the Epstein files will be making more headlines as newsmakers comment on and are asked about the Epstein story during the Sunday news magazine programs like Meet the Press and others as well. So here's ABC tonight. And as I say, new headlines all across the board. Trump calls those who want Epstein files released troublemakers. I don't think he's playing this as smoothly as he normally is. And I'm not sure that the Jedi mind tricks with Trump are going to work this time. Hang on a sec. Let's just listen in on this latest report from ABC.
This morning, the Department of Justice now officially asking the courts to unseal those grand jury transcripts in the...
And that's old news. So, but the headline's new. The story beneath it is new. New comments, I guess, from Trump, and we'll see where it goes tomorrow. I will be back then, folks, with the latest and a longer, full version of Maverick News, not the abbreviated style you're receiving tonight, but we have other things on the go here as we prepare and continue to work in the background to bring you information and news that gets us all a little closer to the truth. And our quest for that will continue tomorrow. I'll see you then, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the flip side.
I heard old Cosmo howling last night up on the hill where the moon shines so bright. He was singing a tune, lonesome dogs cry about freedom and running and touching the sky. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmo's free, running wild, wild as the wind can be. He's a free dog, he's a free dog, he's a free dog. Cosmo's got them paws that just itch to roam. He's chasing his dreams, he's far from home. With a heart full of love and a spirit so free, he's living his life wild and carefree. If I leave he's leaving his bed. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmos free, running wild, wild as a wind can be. He's a free dog, he's a free dog, he's a free dog. So if you're feeling lost, just think of Cosmos Run. Remember his spirit, his freedom, his fun. And maybe one day, when you're feeling alone, you'll find your own freedom and let your spirit go. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmos free, running wild, wild as a wind can be. He's a free dog, he's a free dog, he's a free dog. Eyes, the wind in his fur, a tail that wags like it's never heard a bird, a heart full of love and a spirit so free. He's living his life wild and carefree. He's got the stars in his eyes, the wind in his fur, a tail that wags like it's never heard a bird. Cosmos on a journey, he's got no chains. He's running through the fields, breaking all the lanes.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.